Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome to a little look at some of the games that may be coming to the channel over the next year or so, thanks to some of the larger game fests that we had this weekend, Summer Games Fest and the PC Gaming Show, and a few other bits and bobs as well. I've scoured through them and found as many sort of civilization, tycoon, management, creative games that I can, that I think will be a good fit for us here at Geekism, and I'll be showing off some of them in just a moment. But first of all, a couple of honourable mentions. These are only really honourable mentions, not because I don't think that they're good enough for the channel, but obviously here at Geekism we do have a bit of a remit where we cover tycoon, management, creative, simulation, city builders, that kind of thing. But you know what, sometimes after a long day I do quite enjoy just sort of sitting down, laying back with a bit more of a narrative, and for that I really enjoy a lot of sort of action RPG kind of stuff. So I'm going to mention a few of them here that I think look incredible, but I don't necessarily think will be coming to the channel, but ones that I just wanted to share with you, because if you're like me, you will have an appreciation for design and storytelling and creativeness. So that's why I wanted to have a look at some of these. The first one being South of Midnight by Compulsion Games. You'll see here the art style is absolutely gorgeous. This sort of painterly style with a slight stop motion vibe to the animations. It is set in a fictional deep south of Prospero, where a hurricane rips through the land and sends our protagonist here, Hazel, into a alternate gothic version of the world where fantasy and reality are interwoven. It is an action RPG, so there are elements of fighting that we're going to see here. She has to take on this fairly gruesome looking creature, and she does so using her ability as a weaver. She's able to sort of tear fabric of reality and use that for combative abilities, but then also to get around the place as well. Personally, this one just really appeals to me, as I absolutely love the art direction and the beginnings of the narrative we've seen. I love the fact that it seems to be a modern retelling of Dorothy in Kansas, and I'm really excited for it. The music sounds amazing, the voice acting sounds really impressive as well, and it's just one that I'm very much looking forward to. It comes from the developers of We Happy Few. That was another one where I absolutely adored the art style and the world building of it. Unfortunately, it didn't really hold up gameplay wise for me personally, and for a lot of people, honestly, let's be honest, it didn't do very well. But this one, at least from this early look, it does seem that they've got the core mechanics down, and I like the mix of sort of relatively simple action processes, but then also some quick time motion and a little bit of parkour here that we'll see. So just lots of fun things that I enjoy doing, and look at that backdrop. There's just so much fun here to see. I'm a big fan of this one and looking forward to playing it in the future. Next up, Star Wars Outlaws. I've been excited for this one since the very first reveal trailer, and now we've seen a lot more content as well. There was a really great sort of 10-minute video a little while ago that showed some of the gameplay. This weekend we just sort of saw a new sort of teaser trailer with a few more places, a few of the characters you would expect to see set on the timeline. Obviously a pretty big Star Wars fan. I've been enjoying a lot of the newer stuff as well. Actually, I'm not one of these people that doesn't really enjoy what Disney has done. For the most part, I think it's fine. Some better than others, definitely. But this one is shaping up to really good fun. Again, just love the look of the world building and some of the new characters. Excited for it. Every single time I see a trailer for Fable, I'm reminded that it exists, and I get excited all over again. We first saw the teaser trailer for this with the fairy and the frog about a year ago now, perhaps. Then there was another one of these sort of interview style trailers with Richard Ayoade a little while ago, and now we have a new one with Humphrey here, voiced by I don't know what his real name is, Super Hands from Peep Show. I'm an absolute huge fan of the Fable series. I really enjoyed 1, 2 and 3 was okay, I guess. I'm really hoping that these stick the landing here. I will say we haven't really seen any gameplay yet, honestly, which obviously is a real key factor. But as far as the look of the world the feel and the humour. These trailers have absolutely got it hands down. There's a lot of references to the previous games. We see a chicken kicker in a little while, and like I say, the humour is fantastic. I genuinely laughed at these trailers, like laughed out loud, and it doesn't really happen very often, let's be honest. Even funny video games are very difficult to find funny a lot of the time, but this one genuinely just sort of ticks the boxes for me. I'm very excited to see more from Fable. Huge fan of the series. I'm very much looking forward to this. Alright, let's start taking a look at the meat and veg of geekism then. We're going to be taking a look at all of the Tycoon, simulation, management, city builder, creative stuff that jumped out to me as something that looks fun to play. The first one here being Ale Abbey. If there's two things I love, it is creative Tycoon games and being pretentious about IPAs, and this is my two favourite things mashed together. That's not really true. I'm not really a big drinker, honestly, but I do really love the idea of just a really specific simulation. This is not only a monastery sort of simulator, it is very much a monastery of brewing monks simulator, and I just love really sort of niching down onto something like that. It has that sort of 2D art style of Project High Rise or Fallout Shelter. Very much looking forward to that. Streets of Fortuna is a heavily simulated RPG, I think is the way they've called it. Basically, every single person you see here lives a life in the game. All of the NPCs move around from day to day, go from their homes to their work. You are then able to also live in this world and choose your path. You can be a cook, you can be a thief, you can be a rogue, which looks really good fun. Classic sort of art style here, really harking back to the RuneScape and EverQuest days. I think this one could be interesting. I don't know really if it's 100% my kind of thing, but it definitely stuck out to me as an art style that I enjoy and interesting sort of play mechanics. I'll be interested to see how in deep this one really goes. Alright, Among the Wild is up next. This is one of these, I guess it's a relatively newer genre of these creature crafter type games. There's been Pal World, there's been a few others as well. I think this one is a little bit more sort of cozy. It's going to be your job to take care of these creatures, wrangle them around and bring them back to the farm, and not only look after them but then also use them in the automation of the farm itself as well. I adore the art style of this one, these goofy things with big eyeballs and sheep rolling around. I just think it looks really great fun. And then as you can see, other than that, we've got a lot of sort of standard stuff going on here. We're chopping down trees, we're looking after plants. I feel like the building is relatively procedural. We see a couple of shots of buildings later on. It very much looks like they've been built on a grid, although we don't really know much more about this one. You can build your farm however you choose, plant crops, build beehives, smokers, fermenting barrels. You then tame the wilderness and design your own coop with pens, gardens and houses. You can juggle the art of herding creatures, crafting, cooking and trading to further develop your farm. Yeah, this one looks a lot of fun. Loft has been around for quite a while now, actually. This most recent trailer is letting us know that there is a demo to play, which we'll be looking at on the channel very soon. I think there's also multiplayer capabilities come with this one as well. This is another sort of survival crafter that you can play with friends. Beautiful art style. Once again, love the look of the creatures here. And again, you sort of go around, clean up the area, and then once you've done so, you can then take it on as your own, build and develop it, building up buildings on these beautiful floating islands. Look at that one, absolutely beautiful landscape. Very much looking forward to playing this one. Like I say, it has been on the radar for a little while, but I do believe there is now a playable demo, so expect that coming to the channel very soon. Next up is Croakwood, another charming looking little cozy village builder where you are building a village of frogs. You can see the placement going down here and then them filling out the building. You may Actually, I don't know whether you would recognise this without knowing, because I don't think I did. You may recognise the art style, though, a little bit, and the building style, as this is the developers of Parkitect. Obviously, we had an absolute blast in Parkitect, and did very well for us on the channel. We had a lot of good fun with it. This seems to be quite a big change for them, moving away from that very sort of heavily entrenched Tycoon genre into something a little bit more perhaps cozy and more sort of village builder here. Obviously, the building mechanics still look look very similar. They've probably used that engine across from the first game, but yeah, we definitely seem to be more of a classic village builder here, but absolutely adore the art style. Big fan of frogs, big fan of the Parkitect team, big fan of Croakwood. Dystopica is a dystopian cyberpunk city builder with quite a big twist. That twist being, it isn't difficult. I'm a big fan of the cyberpunk aesthetic. Unfortunately, a lot of the games that lean into it are also really crunchy management games that I can struggle a little bit with sometimes. This is actually more akin to something like, honestly, Tiny Glade or a Montenero that we've covered recently, in that the only narrative, the only sort of gameplay loop is enjoying your time in the game and building something that you like the look of. So if you're a fan of the backdrops of Blade Runner, you are now going to be able to build these out. As you can see, we have buildings going down and being built. You can place bridges procedurally in between them. They will sort of generate as you move them around. You can also place down the classic sort of big neon signs that you would expect to see in something like this. Not only can you use the in-game ones, you can actually import your own images as well. And once you've got everything that you're happy with, including, I think, being able to spawn the flying cars there and what have you, you can then go into a photo mode where you're able to change the weather, the time of day, the amount of fog and all that sort of stuff to make these beautiful vignettes. Here you can see, I think in the bonus here he does a little cat. Yeah, look at that cat city. I love it. So yeah, this isn't going to be a 30 episode series, but I'm very much looking forward to being able to play in Dystopica and building out those beautiful Blade Runner backdrops. Hotel Galactic very much wears its Studio Ghibli influences firmly on its sleeve. An absolutely gorgeous looking game where you take care of a hotel that allows guests from all across the galaxy to come and visit. Gameplay seems a little bit hidden right now, but we do see a couple of shots about building up a room, cleaning it up and having some guests come and stay. But again, this one just caught my eye as being absolutely gorgeous. I'm obviously a big fan of the Studio Ghibli art style and movies, and this very much sort of references that a lot. But you can see here, going around and grabbing wood and stone, as we always do in these games. You'd never think I'd be getting bored of mining wood and stone, but I never am. But then you can see the building getting built out, including rooms and more social areas, and then other little sort of mini games and options for going and collecting the workbenches and whatever else you need to flesh the place out. Absolutely very, very pretty looking game. Excited to see more, and there does seem to be some sort of narrative as well, because we see here a main character coming in, and a little bit later I think it starts to show you what the bad guys might look like as well. Hotel Galactic, definitely one to keep an eye on if you enjoy the art style of the Studio Ghibli movies, and hopefully the gameplay stacks up as well. Look at this guy, he's evil! Citadellum is a city builder with sort of Roman elements to it, I think, and also a big feature of this one is that the gods are prevalent and will come down and have a nose and see what you're doing as well, which looks very exciting. I don't think necessarily you play as a god. I think you are just sort of like city manager, and the gods are going to come down and have a good old check at what's going on. But other than that, it just seems like we've got a lot of the standard city building features here. You can trade, build up housing and what have you. But yeah, interesting looking game. There's also a sort of Civ element to it as well, where you can zoom right out into that more sort of traditional 4X style view. And there's also combat as well. You can set up your army. You can see the guys training there as well. Look, really interesting, very modern feeling training rooms. But I love the look of it. And then you can bring your armies in here, and then you'll zoom down into more of a traditional 4X style army. It looks a little bit simpler than perhaps some of the more sort of traditional Civ style games. It definitely seems to be a city builder first and foremost. Love the idea of the gods coming down and kicking off there though, so I'm very excited to see that. This is another one that has a demo, so we will be looking at this on the channel this week. Into the Emberlands is a cute little exploration survival game. It is your job to clear away the nasty darkness here and build up your village and keep your villagers safe. You're able to explore and gather, but you do have a light on you that is keeping the shadow at bay, and you have to make sure that light stays shining, else you'll get caught up by them. And then you have to refer the light back to the village make sure they stay happy as well as you continue to spread out and make sure that they are safe. Very cute. Looks like a lot of fun. Looks very different to some of the other stuff we play, but still has definitely sort of key elements that we're expecting. Yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on. Look forward to playing this in the future. Oh, there's a demo now on Steam. We'll demo this one as well. I didn't know this one was demoed. I'll have to write that down. Reika is a Baba Yaga them up. This is you are playing a sort of Slavic witch, very much reminiscent of the folklore of Baba Yaga, and you are able to head out into the forest and hunt and gather the things you need to build up your house on chicken legs, which you can see here is all procedurally built by yourself with walls and doors, and then there's lots of interior options as well. And once it's built, you can sort of, I don't know, turn the key or what have you, and up it gets on its legs, and you potter about and help the villagers or perhaps hinder them. I feel like you are actually playing a relatively friendly version of the witch in this, but I'm not too sure yet. It does seem that as you see in this short gameplay video that you're not quite as megalomaniac as the lady herself, but yeah, what an interesting one. I love these games just trying something very different, and this one most definitely is that. And last but by no means least, Wonderstop by the folks that bought you the Stanley Parable, that I'm sure if you played it you adored it, and another one that sort of really sort of switches around the expectations of what a genre can do. I think we're going to see that here with Wonderstop. It very much starts off as your classic sort of cozy crafting game. Here you are running a tea shop. You can see this incredible tea brewing building in the middle here. It's your job to go and grab the items, place them in, make a nice brew, and let your punters have it. Basically, people are going to come by with specific requests for the tea they wish, and you are able to serve them. So far, so classic cozy crafter, but there does seem to be a bit of a twist in this game. You'll see here our main character goes and sits, and she talks a lot about used to fight. She used to be a fighter, and she's happy now that she's found something a little bit more calm. But is she actually happy about it? She definitely has some demons there from her past life, which I feel are going to start showing themselves as you move further into the narrative. Love the art style of this one. Love the Stanley Parable. Love the genre. Very much excited to see how they flip it onto its head. So there you go. Those are my top 10 picks for creative Tycoon / city builder / cozy game geekism stuff. This is my top 10 geekism games. All stuff that we're most definitely going to be taking a look at on the channel, and then a few that I just like the look of that I wanted to share with you, because I'm going to be playing them on an evening once the kids gone to bed as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If I've missed any, or I probably haven't missed them, it might have just been that I didn't quite make the cut here, but if there's anything that you think would also look good on the channel that you've seen recently through these festivals, please let me know in the comments, and we'll maybe take a look at those as well. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all to bits. Until the next one, be good.